Hello, fellow toolboxers. Welcome to episode number 382. A great interview we're doing with a really fantastic colleague, Fiona McEntee. She's been on the show before, so her background's in the previous episode. But today we're talking about updates. She wrote a great article about the Entrepreneur Parole program, but she's doing she does a lot of activities within ALA, with the immigration space, and her firm is growing. So I got to pick her brain on how this firm growth stuff works, from lateraling in people to come in and internally promoting all that kind of stuff. And actually dealing with the prospects. She practiced immigration law during Trump time, the first one. So getting ready for the second one. For those who didn't practice last time around, it's good heads up to see what you're about to deal with. So be prepared for that. It's going to be a doozy. It already is, just a couple months into it, and the everything is just it's coming apart at the seams, it seems. But one way or another, get through this, and we'll get people where they need to go. And these kind of episodes help a lot to get perspective, plus learn a lot of nuanced tricks of the business and personal life aspects that are very important to be able to manage to consistently go through without burning out. I do want to thank our real special sponsor, who helped us promote this, get this episode in, and to get the magazine in. The new issue of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine is out, issue number 9. I'll check it out. As I said, Fiona's articles in there, plus a lot of other great articles to help you become a better practitioner in all different ways. If you go to our website, iltbox.com, and go to the magazine section, they'll be able to see that there. We're collecting all these articles. We're prepping number 10. So if you have a really good idea for a magazine, send me the topic. It has to be something that's a trade magazine, so something that helps practitioners come better at what they do. That's really important. That it helps. It's like practical, not just like fluffy stuff or something like that. We don't need that. We need actual, like, hey, how to become better immigration? How do I file this case? How to do that? Check out the magazine. We just had one. One of the top articles was what Jeannie Deutsch teaching how to do a P1 visa. I mean, it's like 5-6 pages of just breaking down the process. It helps people actually practice, and that's what the goal of the magazine is. So thank you so much, Serenade. I got to talk about them. They're if you're an immigration, you're drowning in work. I was talking about before. Policy shifts are forcing people to just rework the way they do things. Clients are demanding multiple things from them, and meaningful connection, the reason you entered this field, gets buried under paperwork. The certainty factor from e-immigration by Serenade shows you exactly how purpose-built tools can automate the tasks that used to take hours, from data extraction to complex petition drafting, and it's all vetted by immigration law veterans. Imagine drafting complete case packets in 15 minutes, instant translations to 140 plus languages, and having the time to be a strategic advocate rather than a document processor. Learn what it takes to join attorneys who've already reclaimed their practice. Download the free guide. Go to the website, getimmigration.com. That's a place to check it out, to get more information, all the advances they're doing in this area. Again, that's get.immigration.com. They'll have links to stuff that really, they're going to have some big announcements I can't say, but you're going to see that happening. You'll be hearing from us a lot too. So it's definitely worth checking them out and be prepared, because they're game changers coming into practice very, very soon. So thank them for that. And speaking of game changers, where our marriage green card guide there's so much demand for it. Not guide, the course, Ultimate Marriage Green Card course, where we just go the A to the Z of how to be a marriage green card, really family immigration attorney, how to practice the business side, the contracts, the mentorship that comes with it. That's the biggest thing. It could be a couple hours of that, but that's what makes 6 figures right there, mentorship. Because a lot of stuff you can learn, some of the stuff you can't if you don't know where you're going, or you're copying cover letters and love. We go to the INA, we go to CFR, we go to policy memos, we go to practice. We really sit down and do it. Hours and hours of video, plus private mentorship, group mentorship, group sessions, office hours, to make you the best family immigration attorney. Whether you're switching to this field, you're new, you graduate law school, you're new, or you've been doing it for a lot of years, you're going to learn a lot of stuff and develop a relationship with myself and their colleagues in the program. Because the thing about practicing law is the relationships are the key. And any business, anything in life, relationships, and we help you develop that. So it's a really key aspects of becoming better at everything that you do. So I highly recommend getting information on that. Email me at info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com to get more knowledge about that process. Info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. And hint, hint, in one of the interviews we're about to come up, I actually blurted out that we had an EB1A course coming. That's going to be really popular. So hit me up if you're interested in that. We'll get you on the list. EB1A, extraordinary ability, how to do it, get comfortable with it. I'm going to love doing that. So without further ado, none of the information provided here is intended as individual guidance. Please consult with an immigration attorney about your case, but you all know that already. Let's get it started. Hi, Fiona. Thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. So Fiona's been on before, but she was really kind to do a great article for our issue number 9 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine, about the Entrepreneur Parole program. I think you're one of the few people who are doing it, so you have like special knowledge of how to do this very convoluted process. So I'm going to dig deep and kind of just get into just your practice in general. Obviously, it's been really crazy. If you want to learn about your background, I'll do it in the show notes, link to our previous episode. So I guess you could start a little bit about that. I just sent you 3 or 4 questions at once. So there you go. They just threw it out there. Go ahead and
Yeah,
take charge of
no,
life.
yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. I think a lot has probably changed since we initially, spoke. I don't know when it was, but it was a while ago. But
Hmm.
I feel like in immigration, it's like dog years. 1 year is like equivalent to like 7 years of
Yeah.
like normal attorney practice. Um, but yeah, I'm very passionate about startup immigration specifically, and wanted to write the piece on this international entrepreneur parole. But unfortunately, I feel like it's going to just remain an option in theory because I don't know how this administration is going to handle it.
Yeah, sorry, my mic just went in and out a little bit. But yeah, that's a big thing when you start these kind of cases. You don't know which way race to go, and you gotta kind of tell the clients it's not even just this kind of stuff, more complex cases. It's basic things like I have a 10-year green card. Are they gonna hassle me at the airport? What's gonna happen? So the massive unknown
Mm.
aspects of it is terrible.
Yeah, and I think, having gone through the immigration process myself, I came here as an international student and I understand, the need for certainty. And I think it's like people are kind of, the things that people want to know are pretty, reasonable. Their expectations can be reasonable.
Yeah,
Like, how long is this process going to take? It's like, well,
yeah,
that's like a kind of typical and reasonable question that someone could ask. But, the answer is just, TBD, right? Depending on the process. And I think that just the process in general is just fraught with uncertainty, which I think, makes it really hard for people. Like if you look at what's happening with international students these
yeah.
days, and so many other different types of immigrants, it's just uncertainty all around.
Yeah, I mean, just we get it too. When all this stuff that's in the news affects us immediately. So when Harvard situation happened, start getting emails from Harvard students. Like I had one student
Yeah.
STEM OPT. They're like, "What do I do? Do I need to change I-20s?" I'm like, "You're in like the last year of STEM OPT. I don't even know how to do is a reinstatement to change at that point? Because if you're in school, okay, we just switch your I-20, go to a different school. But at the OPT stage, I'm not even sure what you're supposed to do. So it really puts them in,
Yeah.
throws them in a loop. Now I got an injunction, which we'll see what happens with that injunction. But you saw too the other stupid thing they did where anyone who had any run-in with the police got their CBS
Hmm.
I-20 revoked. It's like, wait a minute, it was
Right.
like false identity. Someone got arrested or they got a ticket. All of a sudden, they all lost their I-20s with all the lawsuits that got reinstated. But yeah, it makes it just like how are you going to invest in this country long term when you don't know what in the world's going on?
Yeah, and I think I was talking to people this weekend about this. It makes me really sad because I think about, the 20-year-old version of me that was in Ireland and that decided to come to the US on an exchange program to go to law school here. And I just kind of think of if 20-year-old me was existing in this time back in Ireland, would I look at the US and say that's where I want to
Yeah,
be? Probably not. I was always very just aware and concerned about social justice issues. And it's not like if you listen to, Secretary Rubio talking about, oh, we didn't give these students visas to come and protest, right? But it's like nobody is necessarily coming here with that intention. But like the US has always been this place where you can express freely,
yeah,
where you can be in a room with people who disagree with you. That's what I loved about law school here, was like coming from Ireland, which was very progressive. I didn't realize it at the time, but like coming here, just being exposed to all these different viewpoints that I just didn't even imagine, could exist,
yeah.
right? With guns and just stuff that we didn't have. And it was the beauty of just being able to have these discussions with people and kind of, exercise your opinion. And I just feel sad because I imagine that there's a whole section of people that are looking at the US and just thinking, nah, this is not for me, and we're going to miss out
Mhm.
on those people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it's already happened. I see certain drops of sort of some people coming or some people want to back out. So it's interesting how quickly it happens too. And it's something you think that would be dragged out over years or something, but it's like especially the internet and
Yeah.
AI, and a drop of a dime, like it's everything changes all of a sudden. Every week it seems like everything's changing.
Hmm. Yeah. No, for sure. I agree with that.
How does your practice look right now? I know you got several attorneys working for you, which is great team members to help, with us a lot of the articles that we've published through your firm. But how does the team structure look like right now?
Yeah, we are close, about
Oh my
25
God,
people
25 people.
plus
That's a
and
scary number.
growing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Like it obviously didn't happen overnight because I think, yeah, going from 0 to 25,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh. So it's been a gradual growth for sure. And we're hiring for 3 new positions. We're hiring for a new senior attorney in the business side, a paralegal on the business side, and then a paralegal on the family based humanitarian side. We have an amazing team. We have a really phenomenal team culture. We have great retention, and just like really good like benefits. And we're all, I mean, truly, we're about the balance
Hmm.
of, just respecting people's time outside of the office. We have great vacation. It's kind of bringing the European, culture that I grew up with into the firm. And yeah, I'm just really like proud of, because, in times like this, which are tough
Yeah.
times, we need each
Right.
other, and it's great to be able to lean on each other because, there's just a lot of, ups and downs.
Definitely. Do you do everything in person? Or do you have remote employees too?
No, we have remote employees. So we have a new partner, James Hollis, that
Oh
people
yeah, I saw
probably
the post
know.
on
He's
LinkedIn.
the
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, yeah, he's great. And so he's down in Memphis, with a case manager down there. So we have a Memphis office now, and then the majority of us are in Chicago, but we also have 2 attorneys out in California as well. So
Very neat. What? I guess it's a lot of inside baseball, but like, to the extent you talk about, what makes it the difference between just bringing someone laterally just in the firm as a partner, as opposed to hiring internally and moving their way up? Is it just a faster way to get it, or you just saw there was a lot of synergies that was possible between you?
yeah, I would say synergies with James. We do a lot of sports related work. My brother, who's now the managing partner of the firm, I've transitioned out of that role after 15 years, like times seven, right? Because the dog
Yeah.
years. I was like,
Congrats.
Ray
Yeah,
was
Imagine Part is
excited.
a full
Yeah,
contact
yeah.
sport. Yeah.
So yeah, there was just a lot of synergies, and it made a lot of sense culturally, in terms of the type of work that we're doing. James does a lot of startup stuff as well as the sports stuff and the music stuff, and our firm is kind of known for O1s and EB1As and that type of work, and James had that type of practice as well. So it just made sense, and it's been a really great addition to our team, and it's just really proud. I think I'm really proud to see the firm
Hmm.
growing in this way. So yeah, it's been a really good year so far from the firm, type of growth. And we just brought on another new attorney, Claire, who had just amazing experience working in nonprofits. So she has a lot of like that humanitarian,
Hmm.
like family based type of experience as well. And so yeah, just an Irene, yeah, just a lot of great hires this year.
Now, what happened with James merging with another firm situation makes a lot of sense for a lot of immigration lawyers because they're small solos, and like
Hmm.
inevitably it's like where that is that going to go, or they need staff but they don't want to be managing a whole firm. So that's something probably a lot of people should be interested in. How did the dating process, if you will, happen for you guys to just get closer and closer to kind of get married in that sense? That was there, did you know each other for many years, or how did you even connect and even get into that?
Yeah, and I think yes, we all did know each other for a long time, and I that happens a lot with us in our firm as well. And it's like with clients, it's a relationship based
Hmm.
practice, right? You don't necessarily, not every client like comes to you and immediately like hires you. A lot of times it's a process, and it's a getting to know each other, and it's just, I think, there's a lot of like kind of give and take, and it's like you think about how you help other attorneys on listservs or things like this, and people do like AILA attorneys are phenomenal. Like they really give so much with no expectation in return. It's just to help, right? And so with James, we knew him for a long time. Also with other people who've joined our firm, we've known them for a while, and like I'll sometimes just start chatting with people, and we mightn't necessarily have a position open right now.
Yeah.
But you just, get to know somebody and just see, and down the line, you never know if the stars aligned and if it makes sense. That it could be something that could happen, but often things don't happen
Yeah.
overnight. And it's always about kind of, it's not just take, take, take. There's always like a give and take as well. And I think we see that a lot with AILA attorneys.
And it's so important that people do this business development aspect, which is answering questions on the AILA listserv, on the Facebook listservs, on LinkedIn, reply to people's stuff, comment on it, go to AILA events, and just have these relationships that just get,
Hmm.
keep seeing each other over and over again and helping each other. I've made so many friendships from across the country, people I've never met before in person, but on
Yeah.
message communication know each other. And the thing is, when we see each other at AILA events, it's like, I'm like, oh, you're like friends. We've never seen each other before, other than like the logo image everyone has on the website. That's the image you have locked in your head on them. So a lot of times it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's you. I did look so different. So
I know, seeing people, and it's like when we were on the AILA panel together, and it was just like at the conference there a couple of
hmm
years ago. But it's just like that collaboration, and I think that like our bar is really based on just a lot of like collaboration. But also, I think it's important that in these times people take care of
yeah,
themselves as well, and I really want to stress that, because I think we are a group that are, we're just very compassionate. We want to help people, but like we really need to help ourselves too. And I'm kind of seeing this like kind of burnout, or people, you can't be everything to everybody, and you really need to prioritize taking care of yourself, because this is going to be, it's going to be a long four
yeah,
years. And for those of us that practiced during the prior Trump administration, like out the gate, I did not do a great job of taking care of myself. I was like, at the airport at O'Hare on call for like six
yeah,
months. We were like suing pro bono in federal court. I was like on all types of media, like saying yes to everything, like doing all these things. And it's like, that's not
yeah.
sustainable for you. And even if it was, it's not healthy. So while you can respond to people and be, on the like listservs and stuff, you also need to make sure that you're prioritizing your own time as
Yeah,
well.
for sure, for sure. I remember, yeah, like for new practice, I was talking to someone who just got past the bar. I'm like, well, these first 4 years are going to be really tough, but once it's done, you're like, oh, that was like nothing. Everything's going to be easier after that, because it does burn you out,
Yeah,
and it's a
exactly.
tactic that they're using
Right.
intentionally to mess with the immigration attorneys. They're overt about this at this point, to try to burst out.
Oh yeah, not a surprise. For
Well,
sure.
real cool. If people wanted to reach out and just like, can you talk about the practice areas that you handle so people know?
Yeah, our firm does all different types of immigration. With the team the size that we are, we can pretty much handle like everything from like removal
Oh, you do
defense.
removal too. Okay.
Yeah, we do asylum cases. We do a lot of business immigration. One of the things that I really love doing, and this is something that we've kind of developed a niche in, is O1 visas for content creators and
Very cool.
influencers. So Anna Potter is an attorney on our team. She's one of our senior attorneys, and myself, we jointly wrote an O1B guide for content creators and influencers that we just published there a couple of weeks
Very cool.
ago. So that is like a big kind of part of our practice, which is
hmm
fun. It's not like when we went to law school, we were like, I'm going to do visas for content creators, because that was not a thing, nearly whatever 18 years ago, but now it is. And so they're like fun cases that we do. And so, yeah, we just do a lot of professional sports, a lot of soccer cases, some
hmm
basketball, pro basketball players, rugby, some track, some individual athletes. But like, yeah, sports, music, startups, like O1s across the board, they're all kind of a big part of our practice area as
Speaking of
well.
how burned out we got in the Trump administration, with that there was a pandemic, and when you started naming all the work visas, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when they weren't giving visas to these people, and you have to find backdoor ways to try to get the
Yeah,
visa in, and like, what a nightmare that
exactly.
was. Two double whammy, both the
I know.
administration and the pandemic.
Double whammies. And I was at that time also on the AILA media committee, and then I became chair of the media committee. So I was, it was Trump, it was the pandemic, it was the election cycle, it was like, like everything. It was like the perfect storm of just
Mhm.
insanity. So I hope that, I've developed some honestly much better coping skills. And this is something that I think is really important, because even though I feel like this, for sure, this administration is worse than it was last time, because they're just being way more aggressive. They are just, just doing undoing so many of the good things that the Biden administration had done with regards to like parole and TPS. But so it's definitely worse objectively, but I am
Hmm.
better because I have developed just better skills at like coping and just taking care of myself. So I want other people to know that it is possible to be able to, you know, sustain yourself and your practice while also dealing with this like, you know, terrible things that are happening, and you can do both. And so hopefully people are taking care of themselves as
Very
well.
true. So what's the best way people could reach out? Do you have social media pages they could follow, and how to reach out?
Yes, all the social media, including like TikTok, although not dancing. But I have, my handle is US Visa Lawyer on most things. I think it's different on TikTok, and then the firm has a bunch of McEntee Law Group has pretty much like all different types of social media that you can imagine. But LinkedIn is you know, a place that I post pretty frequently, and I share a lot of different
Mhm.
practice things there on LinkedIn as
Yeah,
well.
LinkedIn is just for immigration lawyers. It's really high level stuff, business to business. It's really the content quality that's coming out of there just gets better every month. I don't go to LinkedIn because
Yeah.
the quality is so good. I feel embarrassed that I'm not posting as much as I used to on there, so I kind of don't go on.
Oh my gosh,
Makes me feel guilty.
no. Post on LinkedIn. Most people don't post on LinkedIn. So posting anything is going to
Yeah.
get you, you know, more than, you know, because most people are just kind of lurking. But I just find it's a great way to do some advocacy,
Hmm.
information sharing, because a lot of my network is just not immigration attorneys. And really people don't necessarily get what's going on. Like we forget that we're living in this 24/7, hopefully not, but like we're so much in this immigration space. But there are a lot of other people, other lawyers, or just your business contacts that just don't know. They might not
Yeah.
have heard about the Harvard thing, or they don't know the significance of the fact that like overnight thousands of international students woke up to learn that they were just no longer in lawful status, right? So I do think it's an important place for us to share with our, you know,
For sure.
non-immigration lawyer
You know,
colleagues.
everything is coming so siloed in social media. That's a tune to everybody because my market or my avatar, whatever, is other immigration lawyers with stuff in the toolbox. Like my feed is all the
Oh
other
yeah.
immigration lawyers, so I'm constantly just seeing postings from other. I'm like, how am I going to reach out? But yeah, nobody else has every immigration attorney on their LinkedIn. It's mostly just general people, professionals. So
Yeah, exactly. That's unique to you. So you're probably getting overload of
yeah,
that
but
from
a lot of
everybody
info is
else.
good when new stuff happens. At a certain embassy, Liam Schwartz has one. There's a Gupanit, I think, is the Indian gentleman who does immigration law in India, and he
Mm,
posts like, "Oh, what's going on in the embassy there?" And just so much info where it's kind of overwhelming. I'm like, "Oh wow, I got to remember this, I got to remember that." But it is what it is. It's really good stuff though.
yeah. James actually has, I don't
He's
know
really
if you
good too.
get
He
his, he
writes
is
really
a
good stuff.
consular,
Yeah.
he is a newsletter that he sends out every week. It's like a consular newsletter that you can find his profile and sign up for it. But he basically identifies trends that are happening at different
Hmm.
consular posts, and he gets feedback from other AILA attorneys, and he basically summarizes it in like a weekly newsletter. So I would encourage people to sign up for
I'll
that.
find the link and put it in the description. Also reach out to him. Maybe you can write an article in the
Yeah.
magazine about his findings. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's helpful because there's like obviously, I mean, you would imagine that people that there's a uniform way that the State Department would handle, you know, things, but no, it's just a free
Yeah.
for all. So yeah, so he does a good job of kind of posting those updates as
Well, real
well.
quick, I'm glad you got that info. I appreciate it. Congrats on the success and the growth. It's amazing
Thanks,
what can
John.
be done in this space. So everyone, I meet people who are challenged when growing their practice and not knowing what to do. But it's like you just talked about the super niches you get, just make a name from that. There's laterals you can move with people. There's just endless ways to have
Yeah.
success in this field. You just got to be, care about what you do and keep at it.
Exactly. And it's also like if your practice is your solo attorney and that's what you want, that's also okay, right? There's no, I think that sometimes we can
Yeah.
fall into the trap of like thinking we have to grow and we have to, you know, that like bigger is always better. And it's like, no, if you want to be a solo attorney with your team or just you, like that's
Yeah.
also okay too, right? There's no one size fits all. And I think we kind of see that with immigration. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and ultimately it's like what is going to be fulfilling for you. I think that's the
For
important thing.
sure. That's it. At most, instead of growing like size wise, they just make your processes more efficient. So there's always some like
Yeah,
progress happening. But you get caught in that trap.
sure.
I got to hire more people. All of a sudden, your overhead is high, and like you're managing people, you just
Right.
get burned out. So that's you have to have a go with purpose and intention and want to do something like
Hmm.
that. But it helps having
Right,
your friends
absolutely.
who are part of the team, like having other So the alternative to solo is having a good colleagues that you can bounce ideas off is really helpful.
Absolutely. Look, and I mean, obviously, I wouldn't change our practice for the world, but yeah, it was a gradual
Hmm.
thing, right? It's funny, like speaking of LinkedIn, I got a random message from somebody. It was like, "Oh, it's great to see your success in such a short period of time," and I was like, "Obviously, AI." I was like, "Oh, it's been 15 years, but okay."
Overnight 10-year overnight success. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's all relative. But yeah, no, look, having the camaraderie of like just colleagues, and I think that is one of the things that I know that we will get through this administration because we do, we can lean on each other at like, listservs, conferences, in person, whatever way we can get that in our own offices if we have
Hmm.
that. But I think, that's what kind of gives me hope is like, and there's what I always tell people, there's nobody that you would rather have your back than like a whole bunch of like passionate immigration
Yeah,
attorneys. Like I couldn't think of a better group to be,
for sure.
fighting for
And
me.
I guess last question is: are you going to be at the Colorado conference, AILA chapter, AILA National?
No, unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. I'm not able to make it this year with our kids finishing school. It just comes at a time where I can't
Hmm.
make it. But I'm sad to
Yeah.
miss it because I've made almost all of the AILA conferences before, but unfortunately, I can't. I won't be
Well,
at
you're
that
like
one.
last year. It was in Chicago last year, right? So yours it was right next to home. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
beautiful city. I didn't never the first time
Yeah.
in Chicago, I didn't realize it's so nice there.
Oh, it's great. I know. I mean, I'm a little biased, but it's an incredible city. We have great people. The food is just phenomenal. We're spoilt rotten with
Yeah.
food. Because we have immigrants from all over the world here in Chicago, and we just have a lot of variety. But I'm sure Colorado will be
Hmm.
beautiful, and it's a nice, I like the AILA conferences, like
Yeah.
change different cities all the time, so you get to experience,
Yeah, you get to
variety.
see the country and well, I've never actually seen it in the first place. And yeah, when I came back to LA afterwards, LA looked like dilapidated. I'm like, we really got to get our acts together over here. It's falling apart.
Are you going to AILA? Are you
Yeah,
covered?
yeah,
Are
I got a
you
booth
going?
for the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox too. So I'm about as a vendor sponsor,
Oh,
I guess.
great.
So I'm gonna be in the convention center, the
Nice.
exhibit hall the whole time.
Love
So
it. So stop by the booth if you're listening.
I can stick around for a second afterwards, but again, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Okay, thanks, John.
All right, thanks for listening. Fiona did such a good job. It was always interesting, picking her brain on how this all works. I'm always going back and forth of like, should I just keep my firm small like I've been doing it, or should I expand it? And I expand it, and a hand gets burnt because I don't know if my heart's into expanding a law firm. I think toolbox and teaching education is what I'm really into. So that's the direction it's going. But having a law firm is fun too, and you get to do practical stuff. So and that you're wondering, how why does this guy have a marriage green card course? He was a marriage green card attorney. It's this I love talking about immigration law. I love teaching it. I love picking brains, strategizing and stuff, but the business practice of it is not as interesting to me. Maybe it will be. I don't know. I've tried it. It's like, yeah, it's cool. I like dealing with the clients. I like dealing with the associates I work with. But the agencies, when you scale up and the numbers of cases go up, become harder and harder because I want to keep quality so high. So, yeah, that's why I kept my practice small intentionally. As you imagine, with all the video content I do, there is a lot of demand of people reaching out to me to hire them for stuff for different kinds of immigration. But I just want to give high level work and use my free time to do fun stuff. Meeting with colleagues, doing courses, training, teaching at law schools and one-on-ones, all that kind of stuff. I find it really personally satisfying. So that's the reason why I have a course teaching people, spilling the beans on exactly what I'm doing. And doing this podcast, spilling the beans and everything. So thanks for listening. If you want to join one of the courses, get involved, or communicate with me, email me. It's the best way, info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. Until next one, have a good one.